right, welcome everyone. Welcome, Tasha. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the Walk with Faith podcast. Um, Tasha, can you introduce who you are, what you do to the viewers, please?
Sure. Okay. My name is Tasha Webster, formerly Buckley. I am a business owner in the mental health field. I help individuals. Well, my specialty is children. I help children that deal with mental behaviors and parents, and I help the parents that to build coping skills to assist these children with the behavior. I guess I should also say my specialty too can be women because I also am certified to assist the prenatal community with like postpartum depression and all of that. Um,
Wow.
I've been doing it for years now. I've been in this field for years, but I have officially been my own business entity for 3 years now.
What is
And I
your,
love to.
that's amazing. What is your business called?
Beginnings Lifestyles LLC.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and so I support the community. It's a community based, but I also have a non for profit. It's called I Am Light Inc. And I'm wanting to go more broad. And I don't feel like I touch enough people. So eventually, I want to grow that and be able to do that as well.
Okay. Are you on like LinkedIn or YouTube or Instagram or anything like that?
Well, I am on LinkedIn. I'm not really just promoting uh, anything. Actually, I am on LinkedIn, and I had a young lady named Asia to do a write up about me. It wasn't so much about, I guess, what I was doing, but she was writing up about me in general. So she has put it a little bit out there, but I haven't diligently been just promoting myself and what I do. It's been a lot of word of mouth type thing.
And what area do you live in? You said it's community.
Oh, I live in Indiana, Indianapolis, Indiana, and it's actually more of a state funded grant. So, and with that, we're not supposed to be just promoting that anyways. But like I said,
Okay.
I have a separate nonprofit that I really do want to do more with.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Tasha.
You're welcome.
So, um, can you share with people how you decided to start this? Like, what was your inspiration?
Well, I want to say it really wasn't as much as me deciding to start this as much as God choosing me to do this. I always knew, growing up, I felt something in my spirit. I felt different. I guess to give a little bit of history about me growing up, I grew up, I guess, in the town of Hallville. And those would say, though, that's kind of a challenging town. But my mom kept us in church. We went to church almost every day. So she was very rooted in religion. I have brothers that are pastors and different things and different callings on their life. I just always felt though that I had my own calling. I knew I was different and I had my own calling, my own convictions. Growing up, it wasn't the easiest growing up in the times of how I did. I had a brother also that I was very close to, and he ended up getting murdered in the streets of where we grew up. His name was Tampton. They called him Maine.
Yeah,
And
all of
he,
this. Sorry.
yeah, and I remember him telling me when I was little, because I believe I've been blessed with several gifts that I just have not been using. But one day he told me when he was alive, he was like, "She's gifted," and I just heard him saying that, and I didn't really know, like it stuck with me in my heart, but I didn't really know.
Yeah.
But like I said, what it was, but it's like I know that I was called to do something, but with my background and growing up, I just couldn't tap into it. It was a lot of anxiety, a lot of everything that I needed to overcome. I think it was kind of engulfing uh, what and that's what I guess this world is here to do, was engulfing what I was supposed to really do. Um, like I said, I grew up in religion, but it was just a lot of fear around me. I would find myself, especially after my brother got killed, having panic attacks and scared. And one day I just cried out to God. I was in my middle 20s and I was like, wait a minute, something just isn't right, because it's like, I know that God doesn't want me to be in fear. And I
Right.
asked the Lord, I was like, come into my heart. And I tell people, because when I was little, I was 6. I did go in front of a church like they do it and say get baptized and things like that. But when I turned 25, I want to say that's when I really became born again, because I cried out to God and was like, God is not a God of fear. God is not this big old mean God. God is a God of love, and then my journey just began. I didn't have so many twists and turns, since then. And I still didn't go right into what I was supposed to do, but I knew that I was supposed to help people. I've always been in the field of human services. So I was helping people. I've helped people with disabilities. I've helped, moms. I've helped kids. It's just always been in that field, compassion for people, just the love to genuinely help people. And I think, just like I said, from where I started and my beginnings, I just have so much compassion for other people. It has led me to where I'm at now, but it's been a whole journey to get me to where I need to be at this point.
Absolutely. It's so interesting that you said that about fear because God, God's amazing.
Yeah.
Last night I was listening to something. It was like a 45-minute video. I have to find out what it is, but it was about, and I have it right here on my wall, which I'm gonna probably move back over here.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've ever seen it on the channel, Timothy, 2 Timothy 1:7.
I actually did snap the picture up.
Yeah, God
Yeah.
has not given us the spirit of fear, but
That's right.
of love, power and love and of sound mind,
That's
right?
right.
That's his
Yep.
word. That's his promises. So the spirit of fear does not come from God. So when that spirit comes in, that's when we have to go back to God's promises, his word, what has been written. And it was interesting. I was thinking that because there was somebody who came in and tried to put the spirit of fear, and that's what the world does.
Yes,
I've
absolutely.
somebody who's in an old, it's like an old paradigm, really. Fear-based belief system, who absolutely loves God, yes, but is operating in fear-based belief system. God has not given us the spirit of fear. It's written. It's
That's
his
right.
word. No, of love, of power, right? And sound mind. So then that came through. And then last night that video pops up. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, and my son's actually working on this right now. He's making shorts of God's promises. He feels like that's a part of his calling to put that out there, which
Hmm.
I'm so proud of him. And I'm like, and
Yeah.
he's doing his voice and he's putting it out. And I'm like, that's exactly what the world needs because we need reminders.
That's,
And then it's amazing how God is coming through right now, and you're stating this about
yes.
feeling that and how you reached out and you cried out to God and was like, this is not right because you have not given me the spirit of fear. No,
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Molly. And I just feel like now more than ever, everything is so fear-based driven. It's like people come up and they want to say, well, have you heard this or have you heard that? And I tell them, technically, you know, I purposely don't turn on the news. I purposely
exactly.
don't listen to a lot of things just because I don't need my vibration lowered by what is going on. It's like I've done a whole lot of work on myself. It's interesting that you even talk about paradigms, because I realized there were so many paradigms that I needed to break, and actually I found out, I've broken a lot of I'm breaking generational curses now just by stepping out on faith and being bold and doing the very thing that God is asking me to do, in spite of not knowing what's going to happen, what the outcome is going to be. I mean, I had my whole life actually. I thought I had done all this work. Like I said, I'm in the mental health field. So I thought I had done all this work. I did have a book. I got a book that I wrote years ago. A healthy mind is a peace of mind. And I just, knew I had done so much work and I had this certain lifestyle. But then, God showed me that this is all an illusion. It was a lie. And I could have either stayed out of fear and or because of material things, or just take off and go. And it was
Right.
like,
Yep.
no, I have to follow God through it all, come what may. I don't know what's going to come, but I got to get out of this. And sure enough, when I got out of what I got out of, anxiety attacked.
Yeah.
Like I said, I thought that I had done all this work, but anxiety attacks me like never before. All these
Hmm.
thoughts running through my head. I'm gonna be honest, I had never had to take a pill for anxiety. And I had found myself having to take a pill. Like,
Because that's a spirit too. That's how fear creeps up.
yeah,
Doubt,
yeah, like,
anxiety.
because I didn't, like I said, I had a pretty okay lifestyle. And I had to leave all of that and start over, like I said, to live a lie.
Right.
And choose myself.
That's right.
So, and when I look around, I'm not here to judge anyone, but I'm just like, I'm so thankful that God gave me the strength to choose myself. Because I know that that's not done every day by people. But I chose myself. And there again, I found myself in the shower crying, like, oh God, like what in this going, because I believe in the laws. I believe in the laws of attraction. I learned that a lot along the way. So, I was doing the laws of attraction and everything, but I heard a great teacher say, and this, I don't know if you know of him, is Bob Proctor. He was like, when you close to where you're gonna be, sometimes stuff will come and it'll take a whole nother direction. And I'm like, boy,
Yep,
did
that's
it
true.
before did it do that? And I didn't know. I would just find myself crying in the shower and just telling the Lord, because a lot of people will say, well, you just got to keep the faith. And I'm gonna be honest, there might come a time in your life where you don't feel like you got an inkling of faith, and it may be one little finger. And I would tell the Lord, I was like, well, all I know is you promised me. I don't even
That's
feel like I can
right.
hold on. I don't feel like I can hold on to you. But you hold me. You hold me through this. And you promised me. And I would just say it. And eventually I just start getting stronger. I was like, I am not taking this pill. I think I took it for a couple of weeks, but I was like, I'm not taking this. My body didn't even feel right because I believe so much in natural things. I take vitamins and I just was like, this is not right for me. And God just began to build my strength, and my kids, they have definitely been the backbone. I have two boys and a girl, and they were there. My little son, he's 14, he'd be like, Mom, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be okay.
See, aren't they a blessing? They're amazing.
Yeah. They're amazing. They all are different.
Yeah.
And when you got a 14-year-old, that could definitely
Yeah.
be in this day and time. But
Hmm.
I love kids. Like I said, a lot of the kids, that's the age range that I work with. And they going through their little different things, having their problems and having their things. And people want to judge them and put them down. But I tell people, how do you expect these children to be okay when they don't have nothing to look up to be okay with a
Right.
lot of times?
Yep. I agree with you.
I'm
That's
like,
why
you're
we
so
have to
fast to
change
want,
that.
yeah, you're so fast to want to count the children out. But really, look at what they're living in right now.
Look at the fear that they're living in. Look at the dark times that they're surrounded with, like the media,
Yeah.
social, the falseness, the lies.
Falsehood. Hmm.
Yeah, so that's why we have to make a change and be that example for them so they can see something different. Because once again, that is what society or the false matrix has put in front of their eyes. They have known nothing different. That's why we don't count them out. We just guide them,
Yes.
teach them, and give them the love that they need. But the
Ab-
proper education.
hmm. So true. That's very, very true. And like you said, these children these days, it's a beast. They are exposed to the beast because they can go online. Whereas I know when I was coming up and in school, we didn't have nothing like this. They can go online and see about everything there is to see,
That's right.
and it's there. And like you said, it's a hypnotic to their mind. It's hypnotizing to their
It
mind.
it is.
And also, like you said, the illusion of the matrix of this world. It screams so loud at all of us.
Who said that? Did you see that thing that I only saw a piece of it, and my son was like, "Oh yeah." Um, I saw that. I think it was Kanye West, and he was sitting, he was on stage, and he was speaking. Oh, and he was speaking to everyone, and he was like, "We control what your children watch. We control their music. We control who says what. We control this, and we control that." And I was like, "Whoa." And that right there, I'm gonna have to find it. I'll send it to you. But it was like it opened up people's eyes and how controlled um Hollywood, how they were trying to control the children,
Yeah,
control the people, control the music, control everything, what they were listening to, what they were integrating into their beautiful minds, right? Because children are still being molded. So
right.
they are easily manipulated. So that's why we have to get more things out there to show them what's real. And
Absolutely.
God, His love and His promises are real. That's why when you said, I may not be able to hold on to you, but you promised me you would hold on to me, that's in His promises. He
Right.
will not let you go. He is with you always. He will not forsake you.
That's right. That is so true. And that's all that I could say to God is like, you hold me, you guide me, you keep me. You know, it stayed in my head, just the love that God had for me. It just stayed, no matter how tough it got. Sometimes, like I said, it was very vague. But I've had a deep relationship with God ever since I was a little girl. Growing up, I always, like I said, I grew up. My mom, she had us going to church almost every day. I was in church choirs and different things like that. But learned to develop my spirituality and develop my relationship with God. And it's an internal thing. I
I
learned
was,
that it's nothing external. It's an
yeah,
internal thing. And when you got that internal thing in your soul, it can't be taken away. It may get, it may get, it may get blindsided. It may be very blurry, but you still have that in you to always just come back to and know that God, if He took me through this and He took me through that, like I said, losing my brother, and I will tell anybody that was the hardest thing for me. I was 15 years old, and we had no control over that. you know, uh, that was a physical death. So, some things you experience in life, like divorce and stuff, that's not a spiritual death. So, I mean, that's not a physical death. So, I'm like, if I can get through with that, I can get through with, and I had no control over that. I can get through whatever. I really can. If I can get through with that at 15 years old, because I went into a state of depression and anxiety. I was 15, a teenager, supposed to be living my life. I didn't understand that. That just was the
yeah.
scariest thing to me. And so, as hard as different things that I experience now, I'm like, I knew what hurt and pain was at an early uh, age, and I lost a brother younger than him, but I just was too young to really not. But me and this brother, we were just like, yeah, when I lost him, that was a piece of me that, but I'm so glad, to know that even your loved ones that have gone on to the other side, they're never gone in spirit. They're just gone in this flesh.
Flesh.
And they
They're
watch
with
over
you.
us every day and they take care of us. I don't care who don't believe it, but I've
It's
had too
true.
many instances to know that they are definitely watching over us and taking care of seeing things, what's going on.
What happened when you got that reading from me?
Oh my goodness. Okay, I got a reading from Molly, my first reading, and I guess I can. Molly is a Taurus, like the dear brother that I'm talking about. They're the same sign. So when I first heard you, Molly, I was just drawn. It was something about you that just drew me in. So I was like, okay, when I got there to read it, I'm gonna call Molly, and man, we was talking. I didn't even notice it at first. And happened to look on the shirt, and Molly had the name Maine on her shirt, which, if you guys don't remember, I said earlier, that is my deceased brother's name. And when I looked, Molly had, because I was telling Molly, I was like, you are the same sign as my brother before I had even seen the shirt. And when I looked and seen that name, I boo-hooed. I could not
You got
hold it in.
emotional. Yeah.
Yeah, I got so emotional because I was like, he is letting it known. Molly says she don't even, I think, hardly wear the shirt or,
I don't. I think I've worn it. This is like my second time
yeah.
wearing it. I've had this sweater for 2 or 3 years.
Oh my God.
Second time. You see me, I wear light colors pretty
You
much all
do.
the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just so happens I was guided. I heard my guide say, put on the sweater. So, okay, I'm gonna wear it. They're all speaking. I
Yeah.
wear it. I sit in front of you and you look at me, you're like, does that say Maine? And I'm like, yeah. Because I don't know why they're saying to do what, but I'm obedient to God.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. And man, how they come through like that. The exact day I'm supposed to meet with you.
Yeah, I just wailed and I was like, well, he definitely led you to me and definitely he led this.
He came through.
Yes, he did.
I
Bold.
know. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that's beautiful.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So sometimes I know on this journey, when you take the path that they say least traveled, sometimes that's not popular and you feel lonely. But when you tap into your spirit and you begin to know that your spirit guides are there and your ancestors and your loved ones, you realize that I'm never alone. I'm never alone. I have the best people in my corner assisting me, helping me through this stuff. This is some stuff here sometimes on this earth, but I have a support system, backing me and seeing everything that's going on and stepping in, I
That's
believe
right.
too, when they need to.
Absolutely, they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are cheerleaders, our supporters, they want to see us happy.
Yeah.
They are rooting us on. They're protectors, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and they are there for us just because we can't see them in flesh and hug them like we once did. It
Right.
doesn't mean that they're not here hugging us in spirit, rooting us on, proud of us, breaking these generational cycles that need to be
Yeah.
broken, you know, choosing us, um, which is exactly what we need to be doing for our soul, what brings
Yeah.
us peace, because God wants us to have peace and happiness and joy,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So yeah, a lot of people, I feel like, because I've asked my family that too. I don't really talk to my family, but I did when I was going through my divorce. I did go visit two
Mm-hmm.
cousins, second cousins of mine who were, because my family's very secretive, and I wanted to see if they would tell me anything, because I never knew
Mm-hmm.
anything about my family. And I asked them because they were like, wondering about my spiritual journey because it was completely like black sheep, completely different than what they believed. And that's okay. And I said, "Yeah, do you believe in praying for grandma?" Because it was their aunt. And I said, "My grandma and her spirit and that she's with us." They're like, "Nope, not at all. She's in the mausoleum or the ground or wherever." And
Hmm.
no, she's not. That would be her flesh, but we are energy. We are
Absolutely.
spirit and flesh. And they're with us. So, but it was interesting to hear the other side of it where people just absolutely do not believe or they don't want to, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of us, and a lot of people have been rooted in what they're rooted in because, and maybe like choose a certain religion or something. It's from paradigm to paradigm, and you don't question it. You don't, by all means have your opinion against it, or you don't, it may not even be against it, just have your own opinion. You know, if you believe, like, if you have your own opinion, that's blasphemy. But when you're chosen by God, God is not going to just let you sit there
Live
and
a
take,
lie.
yeah, and listen to everything that somebody's saying without diligently seeking God yourself. So like you said, I just, people don't want to hear, like when our loved ones leave or pass on, some of them don't want to hear, oh, well, they're there, or they act like they just don't understand you. So if
Right.
you don't understand, that's okay. I don't force anything on anybody. I don't know if you heard of this book called A Proof of Heaven by Eben Alexander.
No, but I'm gonna write it down right now. A
It's
poof
called A
of
Proof.
heaven.
And one day, I don't even remember how I was guided to that book. He's a neuroscience. He did brain surgery on the brain, and he talked about how he had momentarily died. And I mean, he broke down piece by piece. Listen, hear you now. This is a brain surgeon, so he knows what he's talking about. He said, I wasn't in any sleep state here. I was gone, and he broke it down how his brain shut down. But he began to tell what happened as he tunneled through the heaven, and it's so emotional. At the end, I don't even know if I want to tell you because you say you're gonna get it. But he was met. He had a loved one on the journey the whole time with him. And it just made me boohoo again because, like I said, I thought about my loved ones and specifically my brother. You have to get the book to really kind of know, but he broke down piece by piece what he's seen and what he'd been through. And then he talked about even when he came back here, he knew when he was on his way back here, you know. But he talked about the afterlife, which is really life. The thing is with people, they get so caught up in this world. And I always tell people, even if you live 100 years physically on this earth, what is it to eternity?
See,
Eternity is where life begins. My dad would say when he would say when he was dying, he passed away of cancer some years ago. He said, I'm about to go to, he said, this is the land of the dying. He would always call it that. And he's like, I'm about to go to the land of the living. Um, and
that's
he had
right.
it. He had his things that he dealt with. But I tell you, I'm so glad that my dad was humble enough. The paradigms that I had to work through, I got to bring that to him. And my dad was humble enough before it was over with, before he passed away, to say, "Baby, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I messed up." So I was so glad that he got that right. But he would say, I'm in the land of the dying. And that's what I tell people. Even if we live 100 years on this earth, it's nothing to eternity.
No,
So
and
think
you're right.
about that.
It's
And it's
true.
like people are fighting, and people, it's like, what are you even doing this for?
Yeah,
Do you do
exactly.
look, do you even know what you're fighting for?
Exactly.
I don't think you really know.
Yeah. I mean, the minute we come into the world, we start aging and dying, right? It's our soul. We have an opportunity to save our souls for eternity.
Yes. Our
It's
spirit.
our
Yes.
spirit. Yeah, I mean, we're here to experience and learn things, not to fight, not to
Right.
have hatred. It's to learn about ourselves. It's to ascend. It's to live a life, yes, of every emotion, but it's to find out who we are again. And it's pretty amazing. Um, you're talking about that doctor. When my mom was passing, so she passed in my home, I took care of her. They said, hospice said that she had 3 months. She actually passed in like 3 days. But what was really interesting, so I was sleeping in the room with her
Hmm.
and she could not talk anymore. She was very stiff. I could spoon her some water, a little bit of water, but everything was shutting down naturally. And my brother had come, um, and he was in the room with her and he was trying to talk to my mom. And so, like, where the bed was facing, so here was the wall, the bed was facing the wall, and we
Hmm.
were standing here looking at her and she was staring at the corner of the wall and she
Mm.
started smiling and she was like a vegetable at that time. She could not, everything was shutting down. Couldn't speak or anything. But all of a sudden she starts shaking her head and smiling
Hmm.
and almost like laughing, like very joyful and happy. And I'm going,
Like what?
oh my gosh. The message I received was that, and a bird just flew by right now. I got that that was probably her father that she loved
Yeah.
so much. And she was communicating with whoever that was, and almost this very peaceful, joy-filled feeling. And my brother goes, Mom, Mom, stop. Are you okay? And I go, Zach, stop. Let her.
Yeah. Yeah.
She can see them. Like
Hmm.
she was finally at peace. And I want to say it was either that night or the next night that when I woke up in the morning, she was gone. But they were like there with her. She was not alone. Because how really we are in the land of the dying here.
Hmm.
And that's when you go into the spirit is where you are free.
Hmm.
Freedom.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, these bodies are dying, but our spirit is ascending.
Exactly,
Spirit leaves out of
Tasha.
this, and our
Exactly.
our spirit goes on. So that's what when I look around at all this chaos. Like I said, I know I'm just like, what is this? You read the history books and different things, and I found myself saying, Molly, it's just sad that this world here in 2025 has not ascended to anything no greater than a 19, I don't know, 30 history book or way even
These
back.
are
And then
generational
I'm
cycles on
like,
a
what in
massive
the
level.
world? Yeah, and all this fear dominating type mess. It's like, and I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much you can't take none of that away from here. What are you gonna do with it?
Yeah.
When you leave here, you can't. We're all. Like I said, I'm a reader. I haven't read in a long time. I used to read, but I heard Oprah even quoting this. I started reading something about it, the untethered soul. When we are laid out, we're all equal anyways. You're not taking none of this here with you.
Right.
What are you fighting for? And
No
then if
better
you
than
got
anyone.
if you got what you want and you're miserable and your mental state is messed up, you might as well still be dead because you're a very miserable, unhappy person.
Exactly. And so what happens to the soul when they leave that body? We're our souls, our spirit, we're here to ascend.
Yeah.
So we live that beautiful eternal life outside this flesh. That's really, I feel like the job, is figuring that out here while we're in the material.
Hmm. It's so hard too because we are being bombarded. It is so loud, the illusions. are so loud that you almost feel like you are going into hermit mode.
I
They
love
call
hermit.
it to shut down and shut the stuff out. When I see people that operate in there, Molly, there is people that just operate on this stuff and operating in this, and I'm like, really?
I
You're
can't.
not gonna
No.
make it that way because if you're operating just in this world, oh my God, if your spirit and beliefs are on just money and material things, you're a
And
done deal.
judgment. I feel
Yeah,
like there's so much judgment.
it is.
It's like people are waking up. Like we're talking about paradigms, right? So
Yeah.
I've encountered people who have good hearts, right? Beautiful hearts. I know that they do, but just because somebody is different or believes in chakra cleanses or sage or
Hmm.
whatever, they
Hmm.
are like, that is of the devil. I'm like, actually, what you just did by judging out of fear does
Absolutely.
not come from God. So let's go ahead and flip it and think about what you're saying because God has not given us the spirit of fear. We do not judge others, right? That is not our job.
Absolutely.
No. Out of what? Fear-based belief system because that was instilled in your mind because that's how you were raised. Okay, that's great. But other people are going to have different beliefs. Does not mean that and that's another thing, trying to put that wedge or that doubt in between you and God, what flows inside of you. So it's like we need to wake up and realize that that is an old paradigm. God just came through with that message so powerful. Wow. He
Yeah.
wanted that out. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know,
Yeah. Absolutely. Like you said, I think I grew up and like I said, it was so much fear. It was like, you don't talk to this one over here, or you don't talk to that one
the
over there.
judgment, the
We're
judgment.
not, this is the right one, and this is that one. And I'm like, I hate to tell you, but I don't. When you go away from here, God is not looking at none of that. He
Oh, he
doesn't
knows our
have
hearts.
he doesn't have this group over here and that group over there and that group over there. It's
No,
not
because
like
take
that.
away our flesh, take away our flesh. This is just material. Take away our flesh. It
Right.
is our spirit. That, and I think people are so focused on that judgment or the material or what they have here or more power, like you were saying. No, it is our soul that's here to ascend. And
Absolutely.
if we removed the flesh and we all just understood that we were energy, we were spirit, we lived on. If we
Right.
looked at each other the way that God looks at us with love, with loving spiritual eyes, and knew that nobody was better than anyone.
Right.
We all came from the Creator, right? We're all children of God. He created every single one of us. He
Right.
wants us to love each other, not hurt each other.
Absolutely. And I just, you know, I look and I see, I'm like, people have done some horrific things all and still doing it in the name of money or in the name of a status or in the name of and
Even
in
the name of religion.
yeah, and in the name of religion. But none of that holds no weight to God. God sees it all.
Hmm.
And it holds no weight to God. People even want to take parts of the Bible sometimes and use parts of the Bible. But I do say one thing I do know God does, and he wants us to love. God said, love one another. Treat your brother or sister down here that you see every day. You say how you say
Shall
you love
not
me.
kill,
Yeah. How you
lie,
say you love me? I just love God, but you have people that you see here and you despise. So God is like, no,
love
you
thy
don't.
neighbor.
You're right.
It's pretty
Right.
simple. I mean, we have universal laws. We got the Ten Commandments. I mean, it's
It's
laid
yeah,
out right there. It's written.
exactly. And like I said, my daddy, he definitely had his things he had to deal with. But I talked to him some and I would tell him that, Dad. I'm different in certain ways. And we would just talk a little bit, and he would tell me, well, it's the pure at heart. Blessed are the pure at heart.
Right.
And you know, and I'm like, you are so right, because people want to judge outward, like they see people got outward sin, but it's really not the outward, it's the deception, things that you don't see too. So it's the heart that matters. I just, like I said, I look in this world and it's so much pain. Even in the field that I'm in, it's so much hurt. I've seen a lot and I've been through my own self. So some of the things that people get caught up on now, and I'm just like,
Oh,
it doesn't matter. It really
Tasha,
doesn't matter.
could you share stuff that you've overcome?
Okay.
Because by looking at you, and I say this a lot by everyone, but you look, I'm just looking at you, and you don't have to share your age, but I'm going to tell you, you can see the light. God's love flows through you, the light of the Holy Spirit. You look probably like 30, 33.
I get that all the time.
30? Yeah, I don't know. I could be off, but you look young, and I'm 34.
Oh, are you?
Hmm.
Okay. I, I have grown children. I have a 14-year-old, but I also have two twin grandbaby boys.
Oh my
So,
gosh. Oh my gosh.
so
Wow.
yeah, and Zane and Zion. Um, so I definitely am mature and experienced. I told you. I said, when you were saying your age, I said, yeah, I'm older than you.
You look you're gorgeous. You look so young, and you can
Thank
tell
you.
it's the love and the light. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. I'm well on, very mature, past the 40s. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
I Some of the things that I've overcome, actually, like I said, I come from a very strict raising. I don't know, my mom probably done it a lot of protection, because really probably the neighborhood we were in. I told you my brother got killed in that
Hmm.
neighborhood. So we couldn't really just hang out. We was made to go to church a whole lot. And then by the time I reached high school, I was involved with someone. My mom's very old school. She old now, bless her heart, but she's up on it. Her mental state is really still good, but she believed in marriage. So she told me, "Well, you're not gonna be dating a boy and something comes up wrong with you, and you get and I don't know who you so she was just
I
like,
get
you're
what you're
dating the
saying.
boy, you need to marry." So that was my older kid's dad. So I married right out of high school. um and I was married for some years. That's about a 9-year marriage, and I divorced. We were just young. I was 18, 17,
Hmm.
17.
I get that. Yep.
um And then I was by myself for a while with my children, and then I met my baby's boy father. That was a pretty long we that was a pretty long marriage. That marriage was about 15 years, almost 15. Yeah. Uh, and like I said, I thought I had met the one, man. I thought I had met the one. He said that God had sent him to me. He with his life or different things like that. We were both in the health field, just helping people, human services. But like, I found out that it was a lie. As we say, paradigms, and dealing with our paradigms, I was doing a lot of work on myself eternally. I don't know what he was doing. I can't speak for him, but I just know that my spirit had ascended to a whole nother level. And what I had found out, uh, I just was like shocked that I thought I had one type of lifestyle, but it definitely wasn't the type of lifestyle that I thought I had. Um, he just was I don't know what you want to call it. It was a double life. I'll just say that. And when I found out, I was devastated, because, like I said, we had built a lot together.
Yeah.
Um, we worked together. We did everything. it was just my choice. I had to be like, okay, am I going to, when I really found out, am I really going to take this, or what am I going to do? We worked together by all means. We did
Yeah.
everything together. So when I found out it was what it was, that's when, like I said, God, it was like, you got to go. There's no, you got to work. I heard God. He was just like, you know what it is. And you're not really slow as a woman. You have a spirit of discernment. I had had some things happen to me where people had called me and different things, but I knew, and I was very hurt. But I began to grow, and just in that, I just started growing and talking to God and telling God, well, you're going to do what you need to do. You're going to do what's best for me. God didn't do it right away. Oh, but when God did it, it was a terror moment. It was like thunder. And I knew, I was like, I got to get out of this. This is not, it was either my life or staying in it. So, I left. I didn't have, I had to fight for everything, because, and even, you think you married to somebody for so long, you think you know them. But
Yeah.
when stuff like that happens, it's like, wow, you really can do this type of stuff. And all I did was really, I'm not saying I was perfect, Molly. We all have, like I said, we
Of
have
course.
paradigms, but I did not have any ill will. I wanted to build. Like I said, I started realizing while I was in that, I had a calling on my life. So, I had to be obedient to God. If my home life is not okay, nothing else really. I mean, it's like hypocritical. I can't go out here helping these people and then I'm coming home to a crumbled life.
No, you're right.
So
Exactly. Practice what we preach. You know, I feel like having that healthy life, like the calling on your life, wanting to live for God, you have your spirit ascend. We are not perfect. What we did in the past could have been out of like the fear, conditioning, lack of knowledge, just different things. No, but wanting to do better, ascending, making those positive changes so that way you could follow your soul's journey and you could truly help people. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I, like you said, I just would always, and I still do, I get that all the time about how young I look. I believe in taking care of myself, though, the best way I can. I do a lot of natural vitamins, all kinds. I'm a vitamin girl.
I love vitamins
So
too. Yeah.
yeah, so like the curcumin. I love curcumin. I live by that. Uh, some vitamin D's and things like that. And of course, I just try to support my mental state by working out as much as I can. I found myself finding a love for cheer yoga. So
Serious?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
those are
nice.
good.
Yeah, so I'll sit there and be like, let me do me some cheer yoga, and just because my mind could.
Oh, I don't talking about vitamins. I was thinking on the vitamin path. But what is that? What is cherry yoga?
You've never heard of cheer yoga? Okay, have you heard of
No.
yoga?
Oh, well,
Have you
yeah,
heard of yoga?
I used to do Bikram yoga, the heated one.
Yeah,
And I do yoga. Yes, I've started doing it again and I love it. But what is that?
cheer yoga is doing yoga with a chair. That's it.
Oh my
You
gosh. So it
sit.
supports you more, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can set. You'd be surprised just how you feel so energetic after doing. I may not do nothing but maybe like 20 minutes of it, sometimes 16 minutes
That's awesome.
of cheer yoga, and it's so refreshing.
I'm gonna try that because what I'll do is I'll do like Adrienne yoga because she's on YouTube.
Yeah,
And she does like the guided yoga. Um, but because I don't go out and go to yoga anymore, but will you send me the link if you have a link to
I
that?
will.
I would love that.
it's all over YouTube. I did like I'm on a 10-day challenge, so I'm on like my seventh day.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I can definitely send you who I do, but I
Yeah,
tell
that'd be
anybody,
great.
yeah, go in there and it you'll find it. But I can definitely send you. Yeah, I just stumbled upon it because sometimes I'm like, I'm tired of jumping around, getting on the floor. Sometimes you
I
don't feel
know.
like doing that all the
I
time.
know. I know. I know.
And I'm like, this is quick. I can do this and feel good, and I can feel how I can work, how everything is working while
Yeah,
I'm doing it.
that's awesome because I love trying new stuff.
Yep.
So I love that's going to be something I want to incorporate into my routine. Awesome, because it's really important to take care of ourselves.
Absolutely. And yoga is for the mind, the body, the soul, the physical, the mental. It's just so good all the way around. And then I mix it up. I have my days where I may do, it's this couple, I love them, Juice and Toya. So they'll do like the aerobics and the weight training. Sometimes I mix it up.
See, that's great. That's great. I love
Mhm.
it. That's great. Um, is there anything I think I have these questions, but we kind of just go with the flow of everything and we let it go. But
Axe the weight over.
what guidance and knowledge do you have for people that you could give?
Well, we talked about so much. I guess as far as guidance, I would say, you know, to try as much as you can. We're living in, like I said, a world that's very hard and judgmental. But as much as you can, try to do things to practice self love, you know, to pour back into yourself, the things that make you happy, healthy things. And by all means, look at your surroundings and the people that you're dealing with. Do they support you, or do they not support you? Sometimes our biggest obstacles are the people that are supposed to be the closest to us, and they can be a stumbling block. So sometimes if you have a calling or feel that there's certain things on your life that you're supposed to do, look around and see if the people around you support you or not. And don't be afraid if you gotta step out on faith and be like, I have to let this person go. That's definitely not easy. You might have to, but don't be afraid to be alone for a while, because in that alone time, that's where you find yourself. That's where you can hear God the most. And I promise you, it'll get better. It's hard, but all I can say is if you keep going and don't stop, it will get better. You'll be glad that you done that for yourself. So just practice as much self-love as you can and tune out the noise. It's so much noise and illusion, but whatever you could do it, whatever you like. If it's meditation, if it's like nature walks, I like to walk. I didn't say that, but like take time and just get out in nature and walk, whatever it is to soothe your soul in these trying times. I just say do it.
Thank you. Yeah, that was really important. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I agree with you 100%. Absolutely. Um, all right, guys. All right, we're gonna have to do this again if you would
Sure.
like. Okay,
Yes.
that'd be incredible. Thank you so much for coming on, Tasha.
You're so welcome.
Is there anything else you want to share with people?
I guess I will say I am working diligently, as I stated, on just trying to get more support, especially a lot for women, and especially, as far as collaborating and different things, and just more support and resources in general for the people. What I've noticed in the field that I'm in, it's just not enough support. It's not enough support to sometimes to help working moms, single moms. And I'm for supporting everybody, but it's what I'm seeing, like even like housing and different things. So I am really trying to work diligently towards trying to help these moms and also help the kids too. We see all this stuff going on in the world. And it's just sometimes families are in need. They may need clothes, they may need shoes, they may need water, and it's just not enough help out here. So
So
I'm definitely trying.
how can people contact you? So if they want to reach out, they want to contribute or collaborate with you, what is the best
Oh,
way that they can contact you?
sure. Do you want me to give my number? They can reach me by cell. That number is 317-414-7309. And my email is Tasha5181 at gmail.com. So,
Awesome. So that way,
right.
if people want to get in touch with you and
Yep.
collaborate or assist, that would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
Okay. All right.
Sure.
Thank you, Tasha.
Thank you, Molly. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty.
Thank you everyone for joining us for Tasha's podcast, spending time with us. We love you guys. You have her information. I'm also going to post it as well on your video for everyone. And yeah, thank you guys. We love you and we pray that you're always surrounded by the Most High God's love, protection, and blessings. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good
All right,
night.
Tasha, thank
Bye,
you.
Molly. Thank you.